Hi, this is Lisa, and I am here with Real Estate in Real Life. I have a couple of guests that I'd like to introduce you to. And we're going to talk today about why home decisions hit so hard and how to stay grounded during major transitions. I am a real estate strategist, and I hope to bring you good information on what is happening in the market today and how to handle what's going on in our current client climate. And today I have Danielle Beeler, a past client of mine. I guess it's been what, 4 years, 5 years?
Almost 5.
Five, yeah, 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 yeah. And she was actually in the height of the craziest market. I believe that the house that we finally got you, I don't know, that was probably how many houses deep did we go? We went
We went too many, and that house was the last one. I was like, I'm done after this.
Yeah, yeah, like, they were on the fence, and what was, your partner's words to me were, "How high do we have to go to get this?"
And
Outside when we were and that was at that time when, people were going 30, 40, 50. There were 68 showings in, like, 24 hours, and those people were older, and they were just ready to move, and they were flabbergasted. They had, like, 18 showings that day that we went.
yes, they did.
Yeah, and I told the agent, I said, "Hey, I can, have your people just stop being bothered if you just take my offer," which was, which is what happened.
I did. It worked out.
It did. But fast forward a little bit, you, went, got your master's, and you've changed careers. What were you doing before?
I was actually doing project coordination.
Mhm.
So just
With
a job.
corporate, yeah. It was a job. What we call just over broke. Yeah, I mean, what made you wanna get into helping
Social
others?
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got my master's in social work um right after we got the house, actually.
Mhm.
Um, I've always just loved helping. Like, I'm a helper. I'm a social worker at heart.
Listen, I do think that that's a part of why we're in where we're in, and we also have today Miss Jessica Hardesty, who is, a wonderful, wonderful person that keeps me in check in this office.
Oh, hi.
And Jessica's been in real estate for how many years now?
I've been licensed for 20 years and practiced in 4 different states, so
Yeah, so she's that girl that's seen some things, and can bring some perspective, and that's kinda what we wanna talk about. It's pretty delicate out here now, not just with interest rates, but with dynamics. I have a, seminar coming up on March 21st, that will be talking about wealth building, and then we're gonna go into wills and trust, and I am seeing more and more probate, divorce, all the things happening in my world, and I like to have people that I can refer people to get help. Again, while we are not licensed therapists, sometimes we step into those gaps. So I am thinking, um, if I can just ask a couple of questions on who you are and how you help.
Of course. Is that your question?
That is, like, so who are you as you go into this new world as a therapist, and who do you help?
Yeah, so I right now I am a certified social worker. So I provide therapy, mental health therapy under supervision. I'm working towards my license to be a licensed clinical social worker so I can do independent therapy. Um, but right now I mostly help children and families. So that's kind of where my heart is,
Mhm.
primarily in underserved communities.
Mhm.
So that's kinda where I am.
That hits me, differently for real estate. We do a lot of outreach, I south and west in our city, and we do a lot of education, and a lot of times being a resource in that space is hard. Um, so I'm thinking that we have some practical tools that we can talk to our listeners about when we're navigating real estate spaces in general. Um, I often have have structured a business around, just getting and having the difficult conversations. What difficult conversations have you both had to diffuse? And we'll start with Jessica.
Yeah, I think more than anything, when someone is in a real estate transaction, I remember when I got my license, one of my mentors said, "I want you to remember something that people that are buying and selling real estate, I guess years ago they did some study and they rated some of the most stressful times in a person's life, and they went into like graduating, getting married, getting divorced, death, having a child, and buying and selling real estate." And so his advice was, you're going to meet these people and they're going to be even keeled initially because they're just super excited. And then they're going to have to make difficult decisions and they're going to lean into you to have the insight and the emotional stability to walk them through the process. So that's one of the things when I was doing more production, when I'd sit down with a couple or an individual, I'd say, I just want you to know that this is going to feel stressful. You're going to feel stress. And as long as we keep dialogue open with open communication and respect, we're going to get you to the closing table on your property, whether they were buying or selling. So just remembering that the stress level is going to be um, extended, and they're going to react differently than they do that first time you meet with them.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because the longer you do it, you start to see patterns. And what I think experienced agents realize is a lot of times what the buyer or seller is telling you,
Mm-hmm.
they don't want you to give them an answer immediately. They want you to identify the pain point and say, I think what you're telling me here, Mr. Seller, is that you are frustrated, that we've had 18 showings and somebody stepped in dog poo and tracked it through your house.
Mm.
And then once we identify like that feeling of being overwhelmed or angry, or then we can get further into those conversations and move them through the process. But if we're only in the mindset of like, we got to get this done, we got to close a transaction, sometimes we forget because we do this day in and day out that this is a huge move for them. And not everybody moves multiple times in a lifetime. Not everybody owns investment property. So if they haven't done this ever, or the last time they did this was 45 or 50 years ago, it is literally like a crash course in insanity because it's so many things that they haven't experienced in so long.
It's like that movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And moreover, when we talk about like the the public, the general public, and the questions that we get asked, and how we kind of service as that relationship that they have, we're the guide for this whole process. When you think about today, and when you think about how people get guided through things, that is literally the job that you're doing, right?
Absolutely. Um, really walking beside people in their journey, whatever their journey looks like. I mean, kind of thinking back to what Jessica was saying, um, I was the first person in my family, other than my grandmother, who purchased a home.
Wow.
So,
Amazing. Congratulations.
thank you. Um, that was a tough decision to make. And not only did I make the decision alone, I had my partner and I found Lisa like 2 years before we even.
You came to my home buyer seminar.
Yes, I did.
They work every age of listening.
Yes. So we stayed in touch. And
It was 2 years.
and then a couple of years after that, we were ready to look for a house. And in my mind, it was going to be an easy thing to do. Like we were going to go look, and it's going to be fun. And then once,
It's gonna be like HGTV. No.
yes, and then once we saw something we really liked, it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be it. But no, that was not the reality. And I think a lot of people have that misconception, especially coming from background that I come from, where I have no clue what I'm doing. So luckily I did have somebody to kind of guide me
Absolutely.
along the way.
And we covered a lot in consultation and reiteration of the things. What was one of the things that maybe I said that came true that you didn't think would have happened? Can you
Oh, you
think?
told me it was going to take some time. Yeah, you let me know it's going to take some time. This is not going to be an easy process. So,
Proper expectations.
yes, it was. Uh, so it was very difficult and it was very stressful for not only us but our children. Like,
Mhm.
we were going when we had time to look at houses, go to viewings, and they couldn't come and they wanted to go, and it was
And I
like a
said for them not to come until we get the one.
yes, it was a whole thing. But again, like it ultimately worked out, but it was definitely a lot of stress. And I mean, we are almost 5 years in, and it's still stressful.
I Home ownership, it does not stop once you buy the house, and again, anything that happens normally, if you again, I say I have clients for life, uh, I don't fall out of relationship after the transaction is over with, and I tell my people all the time, "Look, if you have something, even not real estate related, call me. I know people." But that's also a really huge thing in what's happening, like, right now. People are looking at how do I manage the thing that I got into 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and how can it help me now? People are looking at what's called equity, this elusive beast, and how do I tap into that? How do I use it as a tool? Um, are there any ways that you've helped clients, Jessica, kind of see the forest for the trees after they've been in homeownership for a while?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to depend on the person because a lot of times, depending on when they bought, they don't know how much equity is actually sitting in the property, and they forget too that when they bought a house, some of them the interest rates were double what they are right now, so they're not always looking at um, apples to apples. They're looking at apples to oranges. And so
Mhm.
that's when a really stellar real estate professional that knows the market, that knows the client, can go in and show them like here is where you are and here's where you want to go. And I'm the person that's going to fill that gap and get you there. And that I think the HGTV dream, like I love HGTV too. I'm not hating on HGTV, but
Not at all.
there is so much perception around the business of real estate, what real estate agents do, what it's like to buy or sell property, that many people come into the experience thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is like the best thing ever." And it is, but anything that's worth your while is going to challenge you. It's going to stretch you. And again, the best real estate agents not only nail the transaction part of it, they know the law, they know how to negotiate, but they know how to talk to people. Because if you can't make that person on the other end feel comfortable
Oh my
that
god.
you've got their best interest in mind, then the entire transaction, you're going to be knocking heads. And every step that you take they're going to feel more alone and the agent's going to get more frustrated. So just knowing you, one of the things that I see you do day in and day out, whether it's with agents on the leadership side of things, because you're the Indiana broker and the tech trainer, or your clients, is the communication piece. Like you're getting to the heart of the issue. What is it they want? How do I communicate best with them and make them feel comfortable and get them where they're going? So kudos to you for all that you do, and you do it with
I'm gonna
such
pay her to say this.
no.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I'll take money.
I was gonna say, I'm sure she'll take a payment, but we'll work on that later. um, I kind of think about the housing market. We just got back from family reunion
Mhm.
and we looked at like a whole bunch of data. And I can geek out on that all the time. I think where it finally hits me is we talk about this and I guess we get cute and we say, things like, well, rent is 100%, why are you worried about the rate? And affordability, this word that has become this all-encompassing thing, uh, it's become a real challenge, and I've had many, many buyers step back. Um, how would, someone being, mentally ready help them into this process?
Oh, you definitely have to be mentally and emotionally sound when going through the home buying process.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, what's that look like? Uh does that look like I can have a difficult conversation no matter what? Does that look like how do I react when things don't go my way? What comes to mind when we say soundness? Because again, my job is really to curtail people's emotions and to deliver what we said our plan was. So when I start to hear the voices go up or when I start to hear the voices go down, I'm usually jumping right in to say, "Well, how can I help?"
Yeah. So I can say as a realtor, like asking clients,
Mhm.
what are you feeling? Th-
Ooh,
It's good.
yeah,
What are
asking
you
about the
feeling?
feeling.
Yes, in this moment. Um, because I know everyone's not like you. So you're very open. And I could call you and you let it be known, like, if you need anything, just give me a call. But being able to tap into those emotions,
Mhm.
allowing them to like express, like, this is what I'm feeling. Afraid or excited, anxious, worried, whatever the case may be, because you go through all of those different emotions
Mhm.
when you are purchasing a home, when you're looking at so many different places. And I only can speak to purchasing a home with another person. So you both
Yeah.
have to be on the same page about what you like and what
That's
you're looking
difficult in
for.
itself. Mm.
It is. So really being able to like sit down and say, well, what's going on? So when you see that there's been some type of shift
Mhm.
in like their emotions, stopping to address that. I think the biggest thing for your clients really is to understand control.
Mhm.
We only have so much control when it comes to purchasing a home.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I have whatever the amount of money is that I have, but just like when we were looking, I mean, people were going 20, 30,000, 40,000 above asking price. And we were like,
So
"Oh, well,
wild.
we don't have that much money."
No. Right?
At the end of the day, I'm gonna need to, afford to live there. Yeah.
Yeah, so understanding like this is a place where you really have to be able to say, I'm not going to be able to control the outcome
Mhm.
and being okay with that.
Yeah. I think about, those times, like, it was crazy. It was a blip, and it was not typical. Like, and, knock on wood, I hope we never go back to a place like that. I almost feel like, the market is kind of it's not gonna go down. I'm never gonna sit here and say this, but we've definitely tapered off. Like, we're not experiencing we saw, the slide from year 2022 to 2023, the increase in volume was $100,000.
Mm,
Like everybody experiences and that's unreal. That's unrealistic, it's unsustainable. Um, however, it that was the goalpost being moved in our society on what the next level of affordability is. So, I mean, I'm hoping that with development, soon that I can, kinda change that word affordable, because I believe the middle class has been squeezed out. Uh, I just, like, rampantly looking at the area median income and all these things that they tell us to put in affordability. The people that make those amounts of money actually barely can afford to live in a single family.
mm,
They have to live in a multi-generational, multi-income household in order to just make ends meet. So I know why they're not even looking at homeownership.
Right.
mm.
I love this topic too. I know in our industry, a lot of times people will talk about how great it was when you put a house on the market and it sold in 12 minutes with
That's not good.
72 offers. And I'm going to say, like they'd say that the skill set of the agent wasn't always there. And I want to say time out because, first of all, the stress that a buyer and a seller experiences in that market, the buyer is so excited to buy their first house. And
Mhm.
then you have to sit down and tell them, here's the thing, you're going to find many dream houses on this search, and there are going to be people that have anything from $25 to $75,000 and even bigger in other cities where they're willing to put that on the table, waive the inspection, waive the appraisal, and then at the end of the day, it's a house that was made by a person and they're going to be buying something with
Right.
no guarantee. We know there's not guarantees anyway, but not even an inspection due diligence able to ask for anything. That is not fun. It's not fun for the buyer. And then on the flip side, I was a lead listing agent during most of that. When you're presenting 72 offers to a 65-year-old person and they're
Woo.
all like within $1,000, the look of complete and utter being overwhelmed that themselves too, and then feeling horrible because they're like, well, this was the house that we raised our babies and this is where my grandkids have come
All the
from too.
emotions.
Yes. And they're like, we want a really great person to have this. How do we know who that is in this stack of offers? And then again, as an agent, you're like, we're looking at numbers, we're looking at facts. But
Yeah.
I do
No
get
love letters, people.
yes, I really do get upset when people act like there was no skill set involved in that market. Is it completely different than what
And
we're seeing?
and I and I
Yes.
and I get that, and we can
Yeah.
have professional debates on this because the people who got in the market at that time, they did have it just not managing the multiple offers.
Yeah.
That's never going to multiple offers have existed in our entire career.
Sure.
If you've got location, price, and condition,
You should have more.
you should have
Your
multiple
agent
offers.
should put you in that
Like
position.
you should be in that position.
Yeah.
Period. Like that should happen as long as those three things meet. If those three things are not meeting, then you more than likely won't. However, when we had our next class of realtors crop up, and they cropped up in that time,
Mm-hmm.
I can I I get it where there is a perception, but I'll tell you this. When I got into business, when you got into business, I've been a realtor for 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
16 in May. Um, it was nothing for me to sit at the seller's table where we, hand wrote our listing paperwork and say, hey, it'll be about 4 to 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
If you get 4 to 5 showings a month, we're doing great.
Right.
We don't have to look at price reductions. We look at it every 30 days, assess what our feedback says, make any repairs. But literally, that was nothing. Being on the market for 3, 4, 5 months, that was expected.
Exactly.
Negotiating
Yeah.
was expected. That is an actual buyer's market. We're still, I don't even think that we're up to 60 days yet.
No, I mean, we're still 100% in the seller's market. We talked about that in this area. The other thing that I think is so interesting is that whether it's media or um, everybody seems to know more about real estate than actual professionals that are in the business. That's a joke.
Thank you,
inside joke.
ChatGPT.
Yeah. But if I was like in the market now, I would much rather be buying a house with the interest rates a little bit higher because there's so many creative ways that I can get the house that I want without having to pay $30, $40, $50, $60,000 over, get my inspection repair requests taken care of and move forward. And yes, my payment might be a little bit higher, but if you have a great agent, there's creative ways to get that payment close to what it was. And I'm going in and I'm going to feel better about it at the end of the day as a buyer, because how many times did we see some of those buyers got so into the competition of beating out somebody else? Like
It was wild.
it was, because they'd get the offer accepted and you'd go to bat for these people to get it. And then you'd call them and say, hey, guess what, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, your offer was accepted. And they'd be like, oh man, like that means we have to buy this. And we'd ask them before you put the offer in, like, you understand this is intense and you're going to have
My
to.
buyers get a net sheet like my sellers
Yes.
get a net sheet. My buyers get like comparables like, look, this is what we're looking at. This is how this area is growing. Like we do all of that. And just to how's the mental space for all the different changes on the roller coaster ride that we're on? So leveling out in this market, I still believe the best position that you are going to be in is to own something.
Absolutely.
It's exactly what Jessica is saying, and it's like, how do I change the mindset of a person who has not had the experience with the family that has, you know, my mother bought a house. I was in high school. That was when my mother bought her first home. I was a freshman in high school, and I'm X amount of years old. Um, I was a teenager, so it it wasn't that homeownership wasn't in my family. I saw it. I didn't know how to obtain it, or I went to a few showings with my mom with her agent. Uh, it was, I guess, it was maybe in my psyche to do,
Mhm.
and I didn't understand why until I bought during the pandemic and saw that incredible growth. I was a part of that, and sharing my story, just it it helps. You have to buy and to get into the game at all. So interest rates being over 6% is not the end of the world, and that's exactly where they were 15, 20 years ago when I got 22 years ago when I got in the business. When I started doing mortgages, heck, I was selling 9 and 10.
Yeah.
Like, but that was when we were able to, well, not able to, but when all the different overlays affected the rate. And it's not like that now.
Mm-mm.
People have more opportunities. I am so glad that I sat down and had this conversation. Is there anything that you would like to tell people, Danielle, about what to what to expect if they actually seek help, professional help?
Um,
Because that's a cloud we don't often
yeah.
go under.
So, uh, everyone should have a therapist. I do believe therapists have therapists.
Therapists should have therapists. Because
So,
I'm at therapy.
so yes. I mean, ultimately, like the first couple of sessions, I know I get some people who come in, whether it's families, children, even that are kind of like, I don't know you to be telling you my business. Uh,
Mm.
um, but just understanding, like, it is a safe space. And not only that, if you do find a therapist or a clinician that you don't really connect with, it is okay to get
It
a new one.
Say it again, say it again.
It is okay to get a new one. So the first couple of sessions is really just getting background information,
Mhm.
getting some history, um, and then after that, it's just kind of moving forward with like setting goals and how to reach those goals and achieve those goals. So,
Yeah. Look, and thank you, that helps us immensely.
mhm.
Jessica works with our office agents, so she gets a different level of therapy that you need.
Yeah. I just love that you've done this. For one, taking the step to like allow the buyer, the seller, the agent to understand that it is one of the most stressful things you can do in life is to because they've saved for so long or they have the equity in the house, like you are going to be emotional. That is your earnings. That's like blood, sweat, and tears. And it's
Yeah.
okay to be emotional. And then also like life's on everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how much money you have, where you come from, what you look like. Like there will be a point, probably many of them, that life literally flatlines you.
Uh-huh.
And being open enough to say, hey, I need some help. Like I am glad that we're in an era of
Yeah.
time where people are not saying everything's okay when it's not okay. Because if you don't take care of your mental health, the rest of your life will crumble and you will let down people that you love and care about. And everything else we do to make life worthwhile, the jobs we have, the activities we take part in, the things we volunteer for, like none of that matters if you're not okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So thank you for for one, changing your life after buying your house with Lisa and going to help support people. That is so much at the heart of what real estate, like people that really care about their clients. It's all about the people. And this was such, I love that you did this and put this together.
Oh, thank you, Jessica. I really thank you all for being with me, because I know that, and we talk about real estate in real life, and we talk about, we talk about the market, bam, 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 bam. How do we help? And that's really what I wanted to get across today. If anybody wants to reach out, we'll have some information when you're fully licensed on your business. We'll put that in the comments, and we'll put that in the description, and you'll be able to reach out and interview your new therapist. And of course, if you need any real estate assistance, as always, I'm around. And even if you need life assistance, I'm always around. So, but really, really thank you all for coming, and thank you. This has been a great conversation.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right. Have a great day, everyone.